Welcome back to I Suck at Fantasy. Little throwback Wednesday to our name last year, but Fantasy PD with our host, Chris is on the mind because he declined to join us today, even though we could have a lot of great thought process there. But we have Nick Clement and Daniel Miller, the fifth, which I recently learned, right? That we're officially there. Once again, Dan coming in with really cool headphones behind his head. So Dan, take it away.
I understand where Nick was coming from last year when his team sucked bad and he didn't even want to do the pod. It's hard to keep focus in fantasy when your team is just abysmally bad.
It hurts. It hurts a lot. You just get beaten down every single week. You get projected to beat players, whatnot, and then your team just puts up 80 points, and it's like, all right, toilet bowl, here I come. And I might be with you this year again, so I can't really say much, and I'm still.
I know we say it every week, but I think this week is actually going to be the one that's like, all right, here's people's futures. We have a big clog up of how many 3 and 4 teams, and we're gonna just really see the winners of the 3 and 4 matchups are gonna show who's probably in and who is gonna struggle from here on out.
I think the top 5 this year with the new fold of the points for, I think you're going to need to have 5 or less losses for the top 5, and then that 6th spot will be points for, which that points for spot is still wide open. There's a range of like 6 or 7 teams you'll see that are about maybe 50 points apart, 60 points apart, give or take, and including you. So anyone can still get that last spot, but yeah, when you start to get above that 5 win or 5 loss total, you're gonna have to start aiming for that final spot.
Agreed.
Wow, Nick, so you think it's 5 losses with how many weeks do we have to play in the regular season? We've still got 6 or 7 total weeks.
I think we
have right now if you're in 4th place with 3 losses.
We do have 7 more weeks still. We're exactly halfway through. Where there's 14 weeks, and then you do 15, 16, 17. So halfway through, I guess, yeah, maybe 6 sneaks in with like a tiebreaker.
6 with good points, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that as like the cutoff. I just don't see. I mean, you go 5-2 to end the season. I think you actually have a shot to. If you're 4-3 and you go 5-2, I think you have a shot to get a bye.
Top 5. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, because Jake is going to be solid in the bye, and I think Matt Hebert is going to continue to roll off some wins there.
Yeah. Not that I foresee the 2 teams at 4-3 going 5-2. But
I think
it's really interesting because I think there's a lot of there's a lot of teams at 3 and 4, and I think we could almost see a 7-loss team sneak in without points, or well, not off of points, but like
when you've got top teams like going 7-0, 6-1, I guess even 5-2 here, they're soaking up a lot of the wins, which makes the rest of us 9 really have to fight and claw just to get a victory or 2. So.
Yep. Well, we don't usually go that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and this is kind of a segue into what is next, which is power rankings next.
Yeah, let's go. Let's right into it.
Let's jump right into it.
So I think my segue and what I think was interesting about this past week of fantasy is mainly due to 2 main injuries. I think it changes 2 teams' projections for me highly. Breece Hall, obviously.
Yep.
It's like, I hate to compare it to this, and maybe I shouldn't, but it was kind of like watching Jesus die on the cross.
First off, what do we think?
I know. I was just going to say, I'd rather talk about this sick background. Holy crap. Who put this together?
Who did put this together?
Let's just say there's a man in this league who should probably quit his career in the fantasy realm and maybe look into PowerPoint generation.
The man behind the buckle.
I'm not going to say any names, but I will let you figure out which team is 5-16 over the last 2 years. Berg, we thank
The
you.
barge. Very cool. I like it.
All right.
This is
The
yeah,
power
this is very
rankings.
nice.
So while we were talking about the sacrificial lamb there, did you want to just continue on that wavelength?
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing this up. I think Brees Hall going down is just so it's going to reflect around the league. So two teams that I had as probably going to move to playoff probables this week. Pete, I already had you in playoff probables. I think with the loss of Michael Carter, who you gave away for nothing, and also DK Metcalf, you to me moved to a playoff hopeful. And then Shaw, who I had in playoff hopeful, I have moving down to like right on that teeter of might be playoff hopeful still, might fall off into the Y category, losing both Jeff Wilson Jr. with CMC going to the Niners and also losing that second coming in Brees Hall.
Yeah, I'll reiterate your sentiment with Shaw. I jumped off of the Matt Nick wagon because I wanted to give Shaw some love. His team was up and coming. He's ripped off win after win. And then now it's just, those two running backs. He was solidly in my playoff probables, but I had to put him down to playoff hopefuls. Hopefully he can make a move or two here over the next couple of weeks to stay afloat because he's got that record already. I think it's interesting that you kind of pooped on Peters, wide receiver that got hurt because TK Metcalf might be back in a week. He's still trying to play this week for some reason.
I thought he
doubt
tore
that.
his ACL.
No, it was something with his kneecap. I think Pete probably knows more because he's tuned into all things DK. But I thought it was a bigger deal for me losing Mike Williams, who is number 9 on the season. He's out for at least 4 weeks, they said today, and if not more.
Did not know that.
So I lost a solid wide receiver one with a lot of upside, and now I have to try and fill that in with Tyler Boyd off of the waiver wire today. So I really look differently at my team for that reason.
Yeah, and how about Milk dropping 73 fab on Michael Carter?
He's taking his shot. James Robinson's coming off an Achilles injury. I don't hate it. I think if you're going to go in on a running back with your fab, that's the way to go about it. Wide receivers can be a dime a dozen. If you're going to take your shot to get a running back that you can play week in and week out, hey, go for it.
I agree. I did either of you look at what the second highest bid was?
I've got it up right now.
It was 31 less than that or 41 less than that, right?
It was 41 less. And it was the second highest was the guy that lost both running backs this week. It was Shaw who did 32. So
and was that all of his fab as well?
Of Shaw's fab?
Yeah.
I don't think so. So
okay.
I mean, again, Luke went balls to the wall. Yes, he overbid. His response in the group chat was perfect. Hey, I'm 2 and 5. I'm putting it all on the line right here. Good for him because if he goes 2 and 6, it's a different story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I on my power rankings, I think we obviously have the same, clear top 2, and then there's just a ton of middling right now. I think that the McCaffrey trade is spicy. I don't know, Dan could get, could have a few boom weeks with that. I mean, you have potentially the two most boom players in fantasy at their respective positions. I wouldn't say Tyreek's number 1, but he's up there. He's in the top 3 of what he can boom to just like at any given week, those players go off and you can get back into the points for conversation. I truly believe. Matt Nick's team is still interesting to me. He's in. I wanted to put him in playoff probables, but for sake of the graphic, I kept him in playoff hopefuls just to do the middling. Shaw's team, I know we talked about this already. Shaw's team is really interesting to me because he won last week. So he won last week, which I had him in playoff hopefuls, which would have moved him up to playoff probables if he kept Brees Hall. But if he lost, I would have probably moved him out.
Wow. Wow. You pull one of my moves on us. Holy shit. Let's pull this up. Nick, did you know this was coming?
I did not.
Oh boy. So it's Dalvin Cook for Devontae Adams.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Straight up. I mean, you have Mostert and your wide receivers now, or yeah, Mostert moves up to your running backs, and you have Metcalf and Godwin
And Kelsey.
and Kelsey. How is Mostert? Is he
Mostert's good.
legit?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been getting all the work. I mean, I'm still nervous about a 30-year-old running back going through the season without staying
And then let's
unscathed.
look
But
at Milk's team. Yeah, he
Um,
then gets. I mean, he still has Zeke just fucking taking up space. Who does Milk start at wide receiver now? Devonta Smith, Tyler Lockett, and he doesn't. Zay Jones.
his flex position's weird this week because Zeke might not even play.
Yeah, I mean, is the plan to move Zeke to a flex?
I would imagine, yeah.
If he plays this week. Otherwise, I mean, he's got Carter again on his bench, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess he's gonna fire him up right away with
Oh,
James
I
Robinson
forgot
on a
about
short
Michael
week.
Carter. Yeah,
Sure.
that is true.
He does become very
Yeah.
thin at wide receiver. With it, I was angling for Adams this week too. I just got topped. I'm interested. I'm surprised that he made that deal with you straight 1-for-1 because I mean, Aaron Jones is definitely worse than Cook, but I would have given more. I would have given another player like a startable like Christian Kirk or someone that he could have filled that Adams void with. But
Yeah, I mean, how has Dalvin Cook been this season?
he's good. He's
been
He's had a
like
couple-
he's been like a fringe, like an RB1, like a lower end RB1.
he's like the same as Aaron Jones, honestly, on the season, even though he gets a little bit more of the consistent role or tag. They've been pretty much the same. They've scored their touchdowns in bursts. They've had some good weeks with lots of catches and targets. So
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook's better rest of season, but I think he's still a running back one for sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
3 years ago, Dalvin was, I mean, without Justin Jefferson, I think Dalvin's like an RB, you know, if he's not on the team, right? You look at what he did 3 years ago. Obviously he's older now, all those things, but the touchdowns that, as an example, Jefferson takes, and then as a function, the wide receivers, Thielen being on a cornerback too, and, you know, all the other openings you get.
Yeah. Fun
yeah,
fact.
Go ahead, Nick.
I just wanted to give a quick little fun fact about my other league. Adam Thielen was on the waiver wire this last week. What do you think the amount of fab he went for?
6.
37. Someone paid
Wow.
37 for Adam Thielen. He's all in on a touchdown dependent wide receiver 3.
God damn. Yeah,
Both
I think
players
my
are
gut reaction.
Both players are through buys.
It's good trade.
My gut reaction. Yeah, I think at first I thought like, why are you giving up Dalvin Cook for Devontae? Like I valued Dalvin Cook higher in my head, but now looking at the team, team composition, excuse me, I do think it benefits you more than Milk. You've been able to kind of hit on some of those late round running backs, which have definitely helped you out. Yeah, I think good trade for you, Milk. I appreciate what Milk is doing too. He's kind of just, you got to do something.
He's making moves.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it allows me. I had 2 wide receivers that were just like the Tampa Bay offense sucks right now, and then DK's been so boom bust. So I needed to make, and there's like a lot of middling. Like I could have gone for like a Devontae Smith, but like then I'm just in the same game, right? I'm in that same place. So it was, how can I maybe get a top tier? And he just gets enough targets. So I thought that'd be spicy to drop on the pod.
It
like it.
most certainly did that. Yeah.
Is there any other comments about the power rankings? I mean, I think we're all in the same agreement.
I do.
I
I
love
like
it.
Toys. I still will stand by. I really like Toys' team.
He needs to get a quarterback.
If he figures out the quarterback, I like his team a lot.
His team's got like on the whole better position players across the board than like Berg and Dan, but like they're all in the quarterback hell. So I kind of view them all the same until something kind of pops, because like I was looking at rosters today, and Matt Nick, who I like, who's 5-2, has a great team we've all thought of. He really only has 3 good players. He's got Kamara, Diggs, and he's got Jalen Hurts. That's the same thing. Dan has 3 good players too, but he doesn't have the quarterback being one of those. And that's feels like the difference why some people think he's got that higher ceiling than Dan might. So it's a quarterback is a big deal. I've lost 3 in a row because Lamar keeps consistently dropping the ball. Like
I've lost
ebb
at
and
least
flow.
3 games.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, look at the start of my season. I had 2 very winnable games, and that bum ass San Francisco Trey Lance just absolutely
Mhm.
killed me the first 2 weeks. That I'm 4 wins if I have Kirk Cousins to start the season, or just anyone
Sure.
serviceable.
Mhm.
That's why I think trading in the CMC trade, getting Dak in my mind was a big up, because I thought that Dak might be a guy. I just knew that Burke Buzzins. I mean, he's gonna go for like 15, but he's never gonna have those boom weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was that big of an upgrade. I think I love that the running joke is that the 2 of them have like exact same career stats. And one is thought of as a good quarterback and one is thought of as a bad.
Who is that?
Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott have like the exact same career stats.
Yeah.
Everyone brings them up as the 2, but one of them is thought of as a choker. The other one is thought of as like a franchise guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just look at how valuable, and obviously Lamar hasn't had his week, but it's like, dude, Daniel Jones 100, like 30, almost 30 points last week because he ran for 100 yards. Like, there's just, I mean, having a Josh Allen, having a Lamar, like at least your floor is there. Like, you're not going to get like a bust from Lamar. He's going to get at least, he's going to get enough, but like a bust for him is 13 points,
Yeah, they've got that floor compared to someone that might not run the ball and have a couple picks, and their floor is like 4 or 5 points,
Exactly. Yep. So anywho, yeah, any other thoughts on the on this?
Nope.
All right. We can go into playoff. Oh, so last week, because I didn't have the slide up, but I was 2-4, Nick was 3-3, Dan was 3-3, and the people did not, because Berg did not put the thing out. We do not have, and I wasn't going to go back through and find it in GroupMe. So I apologize. If you want to do your own reconnaissance, yeah, you are more than welcome to go do so. But this is where we're at. Let's head on over to.
I think Berg brought up a valid point, and I don't know if he aired it to you, but you've been marking the people. So if the people tied on a pick, like say 3 people voted Dan, 3 people voted Nick, you would just call that an L for the people. It wouldn't be a push.
Because it's an L for the people because not all of them voted. And in my mind, that's an L for the people because it's a loss if not all the people are invested. Because if we did, we would have 9 votes and we would have a deciding vote.
But I vote every week, so that's 10.
Okay, well then Milk doesn't check anything except recently he's gotten really active. So, and he's not going to watch this, so it doesn't really matter. So we still got 9.
Hot take, I think he watches.
Hot take, I don't think he does. And it's not a hot take, actually.
I think hot take he does. If you look at the YouTube demographics, I wonder if it has disgruntled lawyer.
There is no chance. We've made comments after comments saying, Milk, if you're out there, say something goofy in the group chat or do something.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants people to know.
That is true. If he was watching, got called out, he would not follow up on it.
Even trying to think of.
We've never, Dan, you voted every week though, and we've never had 9 votes. So to me, if the people aren't voting and they tie, that's an L for them.
Yeah, I disagree on that being an L, but
hey,
I think it's funny.
I just like, yeah. Sorry, Bird. Bird can't even win at that. I'll get
Berg's gonna
that in
go
my
next
I'll
week
get
and
that in
vote
my
multiple
feedback
times.
tomorrow. Berg's gonna give me a bunch of feedback per usual. All right, let's jump into playoff preview. Speaking of which, we have got a couple of lovers squaring off this week. Two men that call each other, talk to each other, even started their own podcast just so they could see each other more. So let's head on over to rhabdomyolysis. And Shaul, I'd like to see you actually release a video of you pronouncing that word. That'd be pretty entertaining to me. So rhabdomyolysis is for PU Money versus
Yeah.
Harlan's Hogs.
We've got two
I clicked the
iffy
wrong one.
matchups. Oh, it's okay. We have two iffy matchups and we've got 4 great ones this week. So I'm excited to go through this. This is going to be a tough pick 'em for sure in those 4.
Agreed.
See who the real
The same thing.
fantasy genii are.
No, I didn't. All right, Nick, take us away on
Yeah.
this one. This is definitely one of your spicy ones.
Yeah, this definitely is one guy that lost 2 RB1s and another guy that was unanimously picked last week and did not come through at all. So there is no chance that I'm picking him this week. I'm going to go with Shaul, even after he lost all those guys. I think Pollard's a great fill-in for this week specifically. And then on top of that, I just see, Gabe Davis will get some sort of long touchdown against a broken Packers defense. So I've got him this week with Burrow on fire, and Harlan Hogs is going to move to 1-7.
I really want to do it. I think he's got some piece. Oh, wait. I didn't see Latavius Murray. I got Shaw. I like the Waddle. I think DJ Moore has a second breath this season. This is the DJ Moore revenge game, too. So.
The DJ Moore
He used to be on
revenge game?
Shaw's team, remember?
Oh.
So I do think that Berg has some decent matchups. I could see an upset, but I'm taking Shaw.
He still starts Pitts. He still starts Kyle Pitts. I cannot believe that he starts a guy that averages like 2 catches a game. They threw it. They were down 3 scores, and they still had 15 passing attempts all game last week. It's not Kyle Pitts' fault, and it's the manager that still starts Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I'll zag. I'll take Berg. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Also, his 5 top players, not like best players, but the top 5 on Shaw's lineup right now are all in 2 games. So those 2 games dictate a lot.
Holy crap!
If
wow.
those aren't shootouts, it could look bleak.
So I'll take Berg. This is interesting because that would mean Shaw's moving to 5-3, and if he puts up some numbers, right, like he can hobble some wins together.
Exactly. He's just got to beat the people like Berg in front of him, and
Nick,
he can make it through.
Could you cross-reference? One of the reasons this is why I had Matt Nick in the playoff hopefuls. I forgot to say that earlier, and not like firmly in playoff probable, is because he had the number 1 strength of schedule rest of season.
He did.
He does have it because I think he still has Jake and he doesn't have Berg anymore.
Okay.
So
and what does Shaul have?
Yeah. So with Matt Nick being 1, Shaul is number 3 hardest left still. And that means, which is impressive, that he still has Berg on his schedule and he's still the 3rd hardest, which means after Berg, he probably has everyone imaginable.
This is in a lot of ways, because of the injuries that happened, a make or break for Shaw.
If Shaw cannot drop this game, I think it's down slope after if he does not.
All right, the people are riding Shaw. No surprise there.
I mean, what one other vote besides Berg for someone for him?
What's your other not favorite matchup? Is it?
It's Jake and Chris. At this point, anyone who plays Jake is just like all right.
Yeah. I got Jake in this one.
I'll take the guy. I'm not going to take the guy that totally said no to being on tonight. I'll take Jake. His team is
come on.
it does look it does look a little weaker now that Eckler's out of it. Like, come on, now he's got to start Daryl Henderson, the starter for the Rams. I mean, the Amon-Ra one, I don't know if you guys heard, he does not have a concussion. It was actually the new Tua rule. So he was totally fine, would have went back in the game. He's probably good to play, although he did not practice today. But I would expect
It's
him to
Stud
play.
Wednesday.
Yeah, so I think that once he suits up and Jake has Josh Allen, I think he'll roll.
Josh Allen's gonna go nutty against Green Bay.
Crazy thing is that right now, Chris is, in my opinion, a huge edge at running back because of matchups and who he has. I mean, Miles Sanders versus Pittsburgh. I mean, they're going to get up and just run the damn ball. And then you've got Derrick Henry against Houston.
How has Cincinnati been against the run? Probably pretty good.
Yeah, probably decent.
If you're
God.
firing up, did Burtis Samuel do anything when they went nuts against Green Bay?
No,
Not really, no.
Okay.
it was what.
He's
Well,
dead.
I'll just say the Packers looked god awful, but the only thing that happened that game that was like productive from their wide receivers was the Terry McLaurin touchdown, which was apparently on next gen stats because I look for anything that makes me feel better about my team. Was the most improbable catch on the week was that Terry McLaurin touchdown. So outside of a miracle throw by a XFL quarterback, they did nothing.
Yeah, and I think Indy's got a good defense, as shitty as they've been. So he's riding Burtis Samuel and Bullet Boy. I don't see how that works.
Mark Andrews did not play today, and they are playing tomorrow. Oh, actually, that was the Tuesday report. Does it say if he practiced today?
I don't think he did.
So
I
if
don't
he
think
didn't
he's going to
practice,
play.
if he didn't practice yesterday or today,
He's not
I mean,
playing.
he
God,
on
he's
a
going to
Thursday
be
night
boy
game,
again.
then there's no
yeah.
way you can take Chris.
Yeah, I'll take Jake in this one. It is week 8. So
It's past year.
Oh, look at this. These are lining up right in order. I don't even need to look. I know the people. Actually, I did look, but the
Maybe
people
if he would have came on, we would have felt a little bit more guilty, and we would have
I would have
picked
taken
but-
him, but I'm sure that I'll hear about it tomorrow. All right, the people are taking Jake. One person voted for Chris.
I wonder who.
I bet Chris did not vote for himself.
I bet he did.
He likes to be in the victim role, the underdog.
All right, let's head on over to Matt Nick versus Herbert's Heroes. 2-5-2 teams.
Ooh-wee. I think this is my matchup of the week. I know we're hitting it early, but I really, really like this matchup. It's two people that are both going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I think that it's going to be a huge decider on that second bye week, which is just such an advantage in the playoffs. I think we've all been down on Matt Nick. He's not for real. He's not legit. A win here does that for him. Does he get it? Oh, man, I don't know. You got Stephon Diggs versus Booper Bupp, the 1 and the 2 and wide receivers. You got Jalen Hurts. Matt Nick's going to be at the game, so you got to imagine Jalen Hurts is going to put on a show for his owner. And you got the Hawk. I'm taking Matt Nick. Let's go.
I am going to stick with the team that I think is significantly better in Matt Hebert. He doesn't even have Justin Herbert, which let Justin Herbert and the rest of his injured squad rest up. He hasn't been great. So Miami should run routes all over Detroit, and they should get a big lead. So Goff should be in a throwing mood. I mean, he won last week without Cooper Kupp, like one of the best scoring players in all of fantasy, not even including quarterbacks. The Pittman thing is interesting for Matt's team, something to watch the rest of the season. Just with their change of quarterback. So we'll see if Pittman improves, stays the same, whatever. But yeah, I see Matt Hebert's team coming away with the win this week.
Yeah, I'll take Ebert. I think that this is an interesting one just from me to see David Montgomery not in his starting lineup. I don't know if that's a timeout thing like Cole, but I know that he has blamed his entire fantasy existence on David Montgomery as of late. But he is going with George Pickens against one of the better defensive teams in the league. So maybe he just wants more skin in the game while he's there. But I would, if I were him, I would strongly consider taking out either Jacoby Myers or George Pickens. Take your pick and put in David Montgomery.
If Matt Nick doesn't update this by 4 p.m. on Saturday, it's not getting updated. That's going to be his lineup.
The people are riding Matt Nick.
Wow. Everyone's going up against the guy that's taking the exam on Friday. Like, wow. Take your shots on Hebert while he's out of commission. Good luck, Matt, on taking it. I mean, I saw you at the Badger tailgate at Jordan's this weekend. Seemed like you're totally ready. He told me he was a rest day on Saturday, and then it was a rest day Sunday morning, recovering from the rest day on Saturday. So, but he's in a good spot. He said he feels confident.
All right, we've got Toy and Milk.
The milk thing. So I am on record saying that I liked the move at first with the defense not playing a defense. And then when I heard it was rainy, I was like, fire up the defense. He did not go that route, and he lost and moved to 2-5, which is huge. His team is solid. He now has Cook. Should be interesting to see again if Zeke plays or not. Who does he play then? Like Dan said, maybe Zay Jones against Denver. So we'll see. I think, man, Toy does have Tua back against Detroit, which is a huge advantage. So yeah, I'll take Toy.
Yeah, I'll take Toy as well. This is going to be the milk au revoir of the league. I don't think this goes well for him.
I'm going to take Milk in this. And the reason why is I do not like, did I cut you off, Dan?
No.
Oh, it was just the Milk.
It was just us laughing at the pick.
All right. I hate his 2 running back matchups this week for Toy. He's got Leonard Fournette against Baltimore on a Thursday night, and he's got Najee versus Philly.
I used to do this when I would rip off Berg and I would pity take his team, and I'm glad to see you're doing the same thing with Milk.
Hey.
I don't think it's going to be like a crazy. I do see where Pete's coming from with the take that Alex has some tough matchups, but I think 85 points wins this week for the 2 of them.
And the people are writing Toy.
Okay. 4-2. Fortitude.
My boy Milk. He came on the podcast. He made a deal with me. I don't know if I have a better friend in this world.
He said he didn't hear about the James Robinson deal until I think maybe I was texting him yesterday, and he's like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I probably shouldn't be in this league anymore. I just don't pay attention enough. Good self-reflection.
It's James Robinson time.
We'll head on over to Team Cole versus Will Zalatoris.
This is my matchup of the week. Oh, baby.
This is not my matchup of the week.
No, I think this, well, also Pat Mahomes is out because of the Chiefs. So it's kind of like a nice little net neutral because the 2 important positions, quarterback, tight end with Kelsey out. I mean, a little bit of a wash because you might have an advantage at each of those. So Pete's new team, Pierce, Mostert, Godwin, Adams. Love that Pete already put Adams into his starting lineup mid-podcast. He's so excited. I don't think DK plays this week, which means Pete will probably start his homeboy Darnell Mooney.
I think he goes with Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. No one wants to trade for him. They've offered him, I think they offered the same amount of picks the Rams did for McCaffrey, and then they were going to give Akers as well. And they're like, nah, we'll just take the offer, the same offer, just without Cam Akers. Like, no one wants him on their 50-man roster or whatever. So Cole's team, I respect Cole. He changed his name right after I called him out because that man is no longer allergic to touchdowns. The Kenneth Walker one did me in
Bad dog purposely.
because I called him out. Go to timeout. Man, Cole's team is interesting because I don't think this is his starting lineup, obviously. No Mahomes. I don't know if Waller's going to play. He's been out weirdly, I think, with a hamstring. And my other comment is Debo is hurt. He has a hamstring injury, very similar to Keenan Allen. So I don't think he plays this week. And if he does, he's limited. I'll go with Peter.
And even if he's limited, they don't really need him.
Yeah, there's a chance that they just roll him out and then they just use him as the decoy kind of option that like a Mark Andrews was. Maybe he plays a half like Keenan Allen does and doesn't even play the second half.
Yeah, I think Cole's team is definitely showing some cracks. I think his running back core is obviously bad.
Kenneth
then I
Walker is
think-
awesome.
I
He
do agree with that. Yes, Kenneth Walker is very good, but Algier is not. And then Scary Terry had a really good game last weekend, but they're not playing Green Bay again. He's got a real defense. Debo might not play. Yeah, I'm gonna take you too, Pete. I think you go to 4-4. You say, hey, I'm for real. I'm going to the playoffs. Yeah.
I think
take Cole.
yeah, winner of this
Or I
week.
take Pete. I take Pete. I take Pete. I take Pete.
I think winner
I'll take myself. My only comment it has to do with Terry McLaurin and nothing against it, but it was like I saw the three passes I thought that shouldn't have been completed last week were three passes to Terry McLaurin, and somehow he caught all of them. The one on the sidelines, the touchdown, and then the one over the middle, if you remember that. And all three, Taylor Heineke gets blown up, throws a ball up, and Terry McLaurin is there. So, anyways, it was good to see him have a little life for him. But I'll take myself in this one. And I do want to let's take a look. I think the people are rolling with Cole.
And I have one question about this trade. So Milk doesn't know a lot about fantasy, but he does know a lot about the justice system. Do you think that Milk has insider knowledge on a potential Devontae arrest?
I think Milk
Or-
has no idea what's going on.
I agree.
I think you're right.
So this is my matchup of the week, and I'll start. I usually
It's
don't
always
start,
me. I'm so sick of being the fucking matchup of the week.
but I think that the emotional fallout, whoever loses this game, we've already started to see it from Dan,
And me.
a little bit from Nick. But if Nick loses this game, I think that there is an emotional free fall that starts to happen. And then if Dan pulls this off, quote Dan last week, he's one game out of the playoffs right now. He's technically one game out of the playoffs and some points for it. So this is by far my matchup of the week. I'll start by previewing it, and I haven't looked at it at all. God. Oh my gosh.
It's not pretty. Two
I've got
shitty.
Dan.
Two pretty bad
Is
teams.
Swift gonna play?
Yeah, he practiced already.
And if he's
So who
limited,
will you
though, it's
put
gonna
in
be-
at running back?
Oh, if you think Kareem Hunt's touching my lineup while he's on the Cleveland Browns, you are smoking crack, because that guy is never seeing my starting 10 or whatever.
All right. Well, that being said, I am going to take. Oh God.
You're now switching mid pick because of the Swift thing, which is fair. It's the first time I'm the only one that's had to go without the first round pick all season. And it's weird to see me
Okay, I
actually
had
have a good
Jonathan
running back.
Taylor.
Is
So-
Russell playing?
One
Russell playing?
week.
Russell Wilson?
I think so.
Yeah,
Did
he
you
was
not hear?
doing stretches on the airplane. And
What?
he's waking people up on their cross-Atlantic flight. He was just doing yoga and stretching in the aisle like a child.
While everyone was
people are
sleeping.
trying to sleep. He's like bumping into them. Let's ride, boys.
This matchup's going to be a tie.
I hope. I will come in. I will be so sad. I'd
That'd
much
be
rather
hilarious.
get my dick stomped than this be a tie.
I'm going to take Dan.
So
You know how much that
Um,
pains me.
I'm gonna take myself too. And
Big-
I'm gonna make the claim. So I haven't won in a while,
Yeah,
and
neither have I.
my meme nutsack is ready to explode with meme goo. And that goo is gonna go all over you, Nick, if I pull out this dub.
Oh wait, low-key, Berg's comment today about his pictures of your students becoming
That was
wolves
hilarious.
that was incredible. That was all time.
Very well timed.
All right, Nick, who do you have here?
Okay. So thought here is that somehow the guy that averages what, like 90 points a week, 85 points a week the last couple weeks is going to just go crazy on me because I think outside of Milk, I've got the most points against. Come out of the woodworks. Some of these guys, Dawson Knox revenge tour against me is not going to look pretty. That being said, my team is much better than Dan's, and I'm going to just trust my fantasy knowledge that I'd rather have the guys on the right side than the left side, and I hope they win.
I love Lamar on Thursday night, though. I feel like he's like bound for a 30-point.
That Tampa Bay team, the Packers get a lot of hate in the media, but the Tampa Bay team is just as bad, if not worse. So
Yeah.
I that team hates each other. Lamar is going. It's hard to prep for Lamar on a full week. Imagine prepping for him in a couple days. So hoping he runs for a lot of points this week.
Oh God, I want to switch my pick, but I don't know.
Switch it. I don't want people riding with me.
All right, I got
I
Nick.
won't.
I'm gonna switch to Nick.
Yeah, and no one's
If
gonna
Swift-
bring up that
if
I have
Swift
ETN.
plays, yeah, I guess Jamal watch Swift go for 120 yards, no tutties, and get outscored by 15-yard 3-touchdown performance by Jamal Williams.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could happen.
I like how
ETN
you have
looked
sworn
amazing.
off Kareem Hunt and you found the person that is as close to him in the universe ever
No,
will as him
disagree.
and said, "This
Kareem-
is my guy."
Kareem Hunt is. I guess he's not that far off. I hate Kareem Hunt. I hate him as a human. And
The only
a
reason
fantasy
Jamal
player.
Williams is position ranked higher than him is because DeAndre Swift was injured at one point.
I don't give a fuck. DeAndre Swift's not fully healthy.
Oh, baby. Is that insider information from Milk himself?
He's made of glass, I will admit, but he's healthy.
All right. So the people are riding Nick.
That's like the first time that people have picked me since we've started this poll.
Nick loses this game. The people are going to question Nick's fantasy knowledge.
Yeah, well, the host questioned Berg's fantasy knowledge after we unanimously picked him and he put up 80. So
Well,
that was shame on us. Fool me once.
Yeah. If I don't win this game, it's absolutely curtains for you, boy.
I thought there'd be more activity from you and Berg on the trade. The trade.
We just made a
Great winner.
big one. I've had some busy days at work. Can we go back to the power, or can you share your screen again? And I want to look at the how much the Jets are going to lose by.
oh,
I am starting the Patriots defense against the Jets against you.
Go ahead, start him. I don't give a fuck.
How many? What's the over under on Zach Wilson yards thrown this week?
Enough to win a game, whatever that is.
Oh, so 110. Oh, a lot of wins.
wow.
One of those
That is my number 5 is my saber metric of the week. Since Berg did this, the Packers have not won a game and the Jets are undefeated. Thank you, Berg.
One of them is the wins is definitely Shaw, who's the biggest anti-Patriots guy right now after losing his parlay.
Oh, the real loser of the Berg-Shaw matchup will be whoever wins because they will have to watch their friend lose.
I guarantee that's Shaw. That's gotta be.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that. I think they need to make another podcast. This one was so bad, guys. I
Why
just
wouldn't
think
they?
they need
why
to
wouldn't make
do something.
Yeah, we need a pregame podcast, maybe like a Sunday morning or tomorrow after work. Just get together, meeting of the minds, break down their own matchup.
I like that idea.
It is, yes. The people do need them this week with the with their matchup happening. And I just want it 15 minutes all about their matchup, all of the stats.
Are you kidding me? 15 minutes about a matchup? Berg would have a conniption. I'm going to be flying into the sky, the Berg Shaw bat symbol tonight, letting them know that people need them.
Berg has the number one overall pick on his team, and he's projected under 100 points.
Well, Jonathan Taylor fucking blows. I'll tell you that.
Does Antonio Gibson find his way back into the starting lineup?
I mean, he should. I think
he was
Berg has
bragging
to
about
start-
him.
Oh my god, that's so bad. It's horrible.
What would happen if the two of them are in the toilet bowl and they got to make a podcast about it?
They both don't start anyone and just run the beer mile together.
Just
Shaw
holding
falls on his
hands.
sword. Oh, that's funny.
Well, it has been a good time for the Philly boys. Jake's 7-0. His Phillies are in the World Series. The Eagles are 7-0. The Flyers are undefeated. James Harden's looking like a dog, but it ain't translating to the W column, unfortunately.
P.S. They're losing this tonight.
To who?
They're already down 6 points to Toronto in the second quarter. 1-4. Oh,
Bucks game must have just tipped off. All right, we can end
Bucks.
this podcast.
Oh, don't worry. Before we sign off, Bucks are winning by 7 already.
Oh, baby.
Also, the Sixers only have 2 losses.
3, buddy. Look it up.
Thought I looked it up
Celtics,
this morning.
Celtics, Bucks, and they lost to the lowly Spurs.
Oh yeah, you are correct.
I get on my NBA stuff. I suck at this fantasy thing, but if we did an NBA podcast, oh baby.
Nick, didn't you have the Spurs losses this year?
Well, that was a gimme game against the Sixers. I had to account for that when I made it.
All right. Well, we will see you all next week. I think we will have some clarity in the league, but at the same time, we will probably have none at all, except the fact that Jake will have a bye and Berg will not be in playoff contention. But one last thing. Berg is a 3% chance to make playoffs. What is our rule on playoffs and percentage and trades with the new keeper rule?
There is no, I think we went over this last podcast, but he could trade up until the deadline.
Gotcha.
Good luck this week, Pete.
Thank you. I need it. Hopefully Devontae can pay off.
Good luck this week, Dan. Thanks, Dan.
Good luck this week, Nick.
Thanks, Pete.
See you, boys.
See ya.
See ya.